So Mill River Park, it's our park. When you look at the city of Stamford, there's a river that runs through it. It runs from the Long Island Sound up into New York State. So what about that river? In 1640, you had the first people coming to Stamford, from Europe, settling the town. And in 1641, they built the first dam on the Rippewam River. And they dammed that river for the mutual benefit of the settlers to form a grist mill. And for the next 350 years, that river was dammed, and it was cut off from Long Island Sound to the upper reaches. So here we look at what that river looked like. It had a mill pond, and people really liked that. But over those 300 years, Stamford started to urbanize. You went from a farming community to someplace that was more and more dense. And so you needed a spot of green in your downtown. By 1929, Stamford had its first master plan with the Swan Report, and they said you need to build a park downtown. But then what happened in 1929? Stock market crashed, and the money for all of that went away. So our mayor, Malloy, about 16 years ago, was presented with this idea and said, you know what, let's dust off this plan. Let's build a park downtown. This is what the river looked like when that process started. Companies had built up along the river, but their backs were to the river, okay? And that was where you dump things, like the shopping cart that just stayed in the river, if you remember it, and nobody ever pulled it out. So we had a successful launch of the collaborative, and the first thing we did was involve the community. We built the West Side Playground. 1.5% of Stamford's population came out to build the Mill River Playground on the west side, over 5 days in the pouring rain. Then we worked with the Army Corps of Engineers to say, let's do something beautiful. Let's restore it to where it's a natural river. It's flowing in a pattern, and let's not put cement walls along it, but let's make it more natural. Well, we got minks returning to the river. We took out the dams, and we have the American eel able to come back because the river flows from the Sound, which is brackish, to fresh water upstream. So the river was restored. We restored native wildflower meadows along its banks, okay? So that now you have animal communities that need those native plants to survive coming back to this river. And then we embarked upon a project, $12 million project, to build out this park. And last week, we opened the park back up to the public. So we have restored 12 acres of parkland in the downtown. They've been reclaimed and greened in a natural way. Mill River Collaborative sponsors programs to get the community out into that park. So we have lots of programs for kids in our playground at the corner of Tresser and West Main Street. We have a Cherry Blossom Festival that we just held this past Sunday to celebrate the legacy of Stamford's cherry trees. And Stamford can now boast the largest cherry grove in New England with the work that we've done, now holding over 4 varieties of cherries that give us about 4 to 6 weeks of bloom time. So we had our grand opening, and now the park is available for residents from all around to enjoy. We are about to embark upon the next phase of building, so that we will be getting a carousel that will have 30 figurines on it, hand carved. We will be getting an ice skating center and pavilion, and then we will continue to open up new phases of the park that will make it stretch all the way from Scalzi to Long Island Sound. So the park is growing. It will ultimately be 28 acres. And to give you a sense of scale, currently there's less than one, before the park opened, there was less than 1 full acre of green space in downtown Stamford. It's a rapidly growing part of the city with 3,000 new units of housing going in the South End alone. So imagine if you didn't have green rest in the heart of all that. In order for Stamford to grow, it has to grow in a way that supports walking and lets people have that mental rest and access to outdoor space. And Mill River Park is doing that. So over the next 4 years, you'll see something new open every year as the park continues to grow and expand in the downtown. So for more information and to love Mill River Park, you can visit our website, millriverpark.com, but we encourage you to enter on Washington Boulevard or at the corner of Broad Street and really check out Mill River Park. Get down to the river and stick your feet in it. Thank you.